Hey, it's Nancy. You're out, and thanks for joining me today on the high road. Hey, my guest didn't show up today, and I'm sure we just mixed up our times or something. But you know what? I wanted to bring about some information about faith. Faith is something that's really difficult to achieve. Faith is believing in something we cannot see. And I've gone through this, and I want to share with you some information that I just came across in a really cool book. But when I was a single mom and I was in the real estate industry and I was learning to draw business to myself, my mentor bought me a little statue and it says faith works because faith does work. And it's really the key to have faith, to have blind faith in what you can't see, that things are going to work out for your best and highest good. Well, recently I came across this book, which over 15 million copies have been sold. A lot of people have read this. It's Think and Grow Rich. It's by Napoleon Hill. It's been revised. Well, I picked it up because I just thought, you know what? I need a refresher on this stuff. Even though I know a lot of this stuff, I need a refresher. And so many people have read this. And there are hundreds of well-known men of who admitted that they have accumulated their vast fortunes through the aid of the Carnegie secret. And the secret is, and all these are all the people who've read this and who say this secret, which I'm going to talk to you about. The secret was passed on in the Business Association, Mr. Edison. So we're talking about Thomas Edison. He used it so effectively that although he was then making only 12,000 a year, he accumulated a great fortune and retired from an active business while still a young man. So they tell his story in here, but they also say that all of these other men, Henry Ford, Theodore Roosevelt, William Wrigley, John Wanamaker, James Hill, Wilbur Wright, William Jennings Bryan, Woodrow Wilson, William Howard Taft, Albert H. Gary, King Gillette, Alexander Graham Bell, J.D. Rockefeller, Thomas Edison, E.W. Woolworth, and Clarence Darrow all have done the same thing that I want to talk to you about in this book. And what they talk about, which I think is just really, really amazing, is he does a whole chapter on faith. And to me, faith is the key. It's visualizing and believing in the attainment of your desire. And he says faith is the head chemist of the mind. And it is because our thoughts are so powerful and our feelings are so powerful, right? And we're these energetic souls. And so whatever we think and whatever we speak goes out into the universe and it creates our reality. We are little creators. We all have that little spark of the divine within us. And it gives us the ability to energetically create. Now, the universe is set up in such a way, and I talk about this, you guys, in my book, Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You. I just want to say that because I learned how to draw things to myself a long time ago when I was a single mom. And I would learn to draw business to myself so I could survive and pay my bills. And this is what I learned and how I learned about energy and how I learned about having faith and knowing that my bills would be taken care of. And this is when you start to tap into God, to the divine source and, to the earth energies. And this is when, things start to happen. But what I want to share with you, and this is such a great refresher course for me. And I felt so strongly about it. I really wanted to share it with you guys today. And I'm just going to read a little bit about faith. It's a state of mind which may be induced by autosuggestion. And this is what he says all these years ago, and it still stands true today. All through the ages, religious leaders have admonished struggling humanity to have faith in this, that, the other dogma or creed, but they have failed to tell people how to have faith. They have not stated that faith is a state of mind and that it may be induced by self-suggestion. So remember, our thoughts have power. So whatever you think about all day is what your reality becomes. So here are some of the things that they talked about. And first of all, he does say, have faith in yourself and faith in the infinite, in the divine source, in God. So faith is the eternal elixir which gives life power and action to the impulse of thought. Okay. The foregoing sentence is worth reading a second time. So let's read it again. Faith is the eternal elixir which gives life power and action to the impulse of thought. So this gives your thoughts when you have faith, and it gives, you put it out there to the universe and you're giving it power with your energy. And faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Faith is the basis of all miracles and mysteries that cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. And I'm going to read that again. Faith is the basis of all miracles and mysteries that cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. Faith is the only known antidote to failure. Faith is the element, the chemical, which when mixed with prayer gives one direct communication with the infinite intelligence. So when you have faith, when you know that there's the divine source, when you know there's God, when you know that we're not alone, that's what gives it the power, right? It's the chemical. Faith is the element that transforms the ordinary vibrations of thought created by the finite mind of man into the spiritual equivalent. Because the universe is set up in such a way that if you have faith and you believe, the universe picks up on your faithful energy. And that's how things are changed for you. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used. Every one of the foregoing statements is capable of proof, and the proof is simple and easily demonstrated. It's wrapped up in the principle of autosuggestion. So he talks a lot about autosuggestion, and this is why affirmations work. This is why you really need to pay attention to your words, what you're saying, what you're thinking. Your thoughts, as well as your words, as well as your feelings, are creating, okay, your reality. So that's if you want something, focus on the outcome, how you want it to be. The biggest thing too is to feel like you have already attained it. And he gives a self-confidence formula. And this is something I want to share with you guys because I think it's really important that people know these things. And this has been around, you guys, since like the 1800s. This book was first written, and I'm going to look here just because I think it's really important. Let me look here and see exactly when when it was first put out. I think he tells us. Yeah, it's 1937. Napoleon Hill wrote this in 1937. Now, here's the formula to self-confidence, and I really like this, so I really want to share it with everybody. And what he suggests is that you write down what your goal is. And I really believe in that too. Writing things down, not on the computer. When you write it down, it gives it power. It makes it stick. That ink, it gives it ink. I love that. So write down what you really desire. And the first thing he says is, and you're supposed to repeat these. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. And I here now promise to take such action. And what he's doing is he's having people say this to reprogram. Okay, reprogram their minds. I have clearly written down a description of the definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. And these are things that people can say. And this is why affirmations are so powerful because it changes the subconscious mind from thinking you can't do something to knowing that you can achieve it and seeing the end goal, seeing the end result. And one thing he talks about here that I really like, and he says you should feel it. Take 30 minutes a day and just feel what it would be like to know that you have achieved the goal and what's it feel like to have achieved it. Give yourself that 30 minutes. He also talks about giving yourself 10 minutes to just, bring up your self-confidence. Okay. There's just a lot of cool information in this book, and there's a lot of cool information out there. And now in my book, when I talk about faith, and I'm going to read a little bit out of my book, just because, I really believe in faith, or I didn't understand faith until I learned to have faith. And faith is not an easy thing to learn to have. And so in my book, I say I need to adjust faith if you're going to work with the universal energy. And it's true. Faith and energy are things we cannot physically see. True wavering faith is that God, our creator, is taking care of our needs. True faith is a very difficult thing to achieve. It's being childlike and believing in what you cannot see. Now, in Hebrews 11:1, it says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So I talk about faith and I do a whole chapter on it in my book because I want people to know that it is achievable. It wasn't something that just came really easy for me. I had to really, I believed, and then things came out the way I knew they would. And after this happens so many times, then you start to have faith and then you realize you're not alone. And then you realize there is a higher power, and that there are angels who do watch over us, and there is a God who watches over us, and that we can tap in and we can have a relationship with this higher power. And you can say spirit, you can say the divine source, whatever makes you comfortable, but we do have the ability. Hey, listen, I am going to teach a class this weekend, Saturday, the 13th, the 20th, and 27th. If you can't make them, that's fine. If you want to sign up, I will send you the videos. Go to nancyyearout.com. But I am going to get out of here for today. I just wanted to bring this to your attention about faith. Faith is so important, especially right now. The way our world is, the way things are going, we have to have faith that in God that we will be taken care of, that things will be okay, that people will wake up, that our vibration will be raised, and that we will start to be a more compassionate people. And if we can all work on ourselves and work on having faith and believing and not be afraid, that's the biggest thing. It can be faith or fear. And I choose faith, and I hope you guys do too. All right. I hope everybody has a fabulous week. And I'll talk to you next week. God bless.